Hello, Adobe Live community. Hello to those of you tuning in on the Adobe Live YouTube, on Behance, or watching the replay. It's always great to see you. If you are, pop in a hello in the comments. Let us know where you're tuning in from. And I have a question for you because of today's theme, which is really involving making as much social media content as we can in the brief time we have together. What is your favorite social media content format at the moment? Is it video like Instagram Reels? Is it video like Stories? Or is it live video like Instagram Live? Is it swipeable carousel posts? Or is it good old-fashioned photos? There are so many different content formats. I'm sure I've left a handful out, but let me know in the chat what is your favorite, because today we're doing what I call a content vault. We're creating a library full of content that is going to be on brand for your social media account. A quick little description of why this matters. Yeah, it's important to have all these formats covered, but I like this as almost like an emergency bank of content that when life gets in the way or you fall behind on your schedule and you want to keep consistent, you don't want to skip posting, you have all this content ready to go and ready to post. So that's why I encourage you to do the exercise we're going to do today. Try it in 30 minutes, set a timer for yourself. This is, of course, our Adobe Express challenge. So I challenge you to see how much content you can make when you try the process that I'm about to go through. Because in just 30 minutes, you can really surprise yourself how much content you can have tucked away for a rainy day, for when you hopefully don't need it, but when life gets in the way, you will have that content. So you can focus on life, not so much on social media. Without further ado, I'm going to hop into Adobe Express though and show you the template we're going to be working with. Now, if you've been tuning in to a few of these Adobe Express weekly challenges with me, you're going to see some content that looks quite familiar. That's because this isn't just one post, it's a whole library, a whole vault, whole treasure chest of content that you can use and rely on all within the same project. That is something I love about Adobe Express is I can have different sizes all as different projects here, but in without having to switch tabs or go to different things. So as you can see, I have some single image infographics. These are some fun things we've worked on at the start of these challenges in week one. I have some stories. I know we didn't focus on stories in any of these only 4 weeks we had together, but those are a super important content format. We have reel covers. We did some work on making cinematic reels. Well, this is going to be the cover photo to go with it. We have IG Live previews and covers. We have carousels, which we just worked on last week. And you can duplicate these pieces of content and use them as much as you need, as I said, so you can have a huge bank of backup content when you need it. I'm going to go ahead and start with the single image first, which again, this is looking like one of the ones we saw in week one. But the idea here, I'm not going to explain too much because we have a lot of content to get through. The idea here is that this is a quickly consumable and visual post. So I'm going to go ahead and put a nice hook in here. I'm going to do 4 types. Oh, that's a dollar sign. 4 types of trending content. That's what we're trying to focus on here. Let's drop the font size. Let's make that all fit. There we go. 4 types of trending content. I like this post because it's always like a list, or it could be a routine that you're sharing. Of course, since I'm only doing 4, I can easily delete that one. It's gone, and I can really just have the space and room that I need to highlight these 4 types of posts that I want to share. 4 types of trending content. Let's make that a little bit juicier. You need to make. There we go. Maybe it's not a good enough hook because it's too long. Who knows? But I like it that way. All right. First up, we are going to go with, let's do industry memes. Okay. That's a great one. Very, very easy to make. I thought about doing one of these challenges on making memes here in Adobe Express. That'll have to be one for the future, but it's super easy to just make some nice, quick, funny, shareable content. We have educational series. So that is, you are showing up on a reoccurring schedule. Maybe it's weekly, maybe it is, every single day if you have a lot to talk about, and you are making each one an episode that lends into the next post that you have. This really gets people coming back for more. It shows people, oh, this person isn't just a one-off content creator, so I don't need to follow them. They show up with this value a lot, so I'm going to hit that follow button. So it's a great one to do. What else do we got? Let's go ahead and do quick win value. You want to just make it, this is a quick win value post. We're just making it nice and easy to consume and learn from. And then last, we're going to do, I just need a way to explain this. We're going to do non-fancy storytelling. So it's basically saying I'm telling a story with my content. That's the whole purpose of the post. I'm not too focused on how nice it looks. I'm not worried about it being as cinematic as the reels I created in week 2 of these challenges. Instead, it's just going to be me on camera telling a story, teaching something through that story, and being very relatable to my audience. So those are the 4 types of trending content that I want to share with my audience through this post. That's one post right there. I'm going to do some quick things like my call to action. Share this post. Always my go-to, but you can say save it, comment your favorite, whatever you want to ask your audience to do. I like to tuck it away at the bottom there. And I'm putting my Instagram as well so people know that it's me behind this post. We've spoken a lot about how it's important to protect your content. Yes, unfortunately, people who want to screenshot your content can probably crop that out, but we're making it a little bit more difficult for them. So this is it. I like how this is looking. Let's go ahead and add some quick little icons in these squares. You could also remove them and put larger images if you want. But something I want to encourage you to do with this content vault exercise is go for speed. So I'm going to go ahead. Let's type in meme and see what comes up. There we go. We got some classic meme icons. We got these sunglasses here. Don't need them that big. Tempted to just put it there like it's wearing the sunglasses. There we go. Got our meme content represented. We want an educational. I knew there'd be some sort of graduation cap or an apple. Let's go ahead with the graduation cap. I like to try to keep my icons similar. So since I'm going with mostly filled in icons, let's go ahead and match that with all the ones we're finding. Okay, a quick win. Let's try win. Maybe it'll be a trophy or a ribbon. There we go. The idea with this, as I've explained when we made a lot of this content, is how can you as quickly as possible communicate to your audience what your message is. And that's why visuals are very important to really just help them do that. And there we go. We have created one post. Yes, I can go in and add the branding, add my colors, but we're going for speed here. I want to get all this content out. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to work with this idea, and I'm going to amplify it to create all these other posts that you see here in this project. We're going to go ahead and jump to the carousel next because I want to show as many pieces of content as we can make. Again, if you've been tuning into this series, you already have this template with the carousel, but this new template link, which you can find in the chat or you can find in the description for this video, this one, you're going to be able to have all of these templates all together, nice and packaged for you. So if you haven't tuned into every week, you got most of the templates right here, but this is going to be my carousel. I want to make this using that same idea of trending content. So let's do very similar hook, 4 types of content for IG. Okay, play around with it. With a carousel post, you want to try to find what flows the best. So you might find that the way you word your title on an infographic, like I have over here, and I'm even gonna, I know I mentioned it when I did this, I didn't like how it was 3 lines, so I'm gonna trim that. So what might work here, you might find you need to adjust or switch in or out some words when you make it a carousel. I like the way it's all framed here and laid out here, and it's very similar. It gets my point across. But as we've taught, you want your first slide to grab attention. You also want your second slide to promote curiosity because Instagram will occasionally show the second slide of a carousel if someone skips it the first time. So that's why on this template, I've guided you, ask an interesting question here. So I'm going to go ahead and put stuck on what content to make. I'm speaking to someone who is having the pain point of not knowing what content they can share. Maybe they feel like they've hit a wall. Maybe they feel like they need something new. I'm hoping someone who is experiencing either of those problems will see this part of my post and keep on scrolling. That's what you're doing, and that's why I like a question. From here, as we remember with the carousel template, it's pretty self-guided, but we want to structure it as going through each of the points that are important. I've given you 3 as a starting point for this carousel template, but if you want to go into 4 or 5, obviously the post we're dealing with today is 4 main points. I'm going to go ahead and just duplicate this one. So I go to page actions, clicking on these 3 dots here, and I'm going to duplicate, and now it's becoming point number 4, sharing my 4th point. And that's how easy it is to work with these templates. I really wanted to make it something you can accessibly use and just, again, sit down in your computer and create as much content as possible. So this is dealing with, again, the same topic. So we have industry memes, educational series, quick win value, and non-fancy storytelling. So let's go ahead and do that. Point 1 of content types to make, industry memes. We can shrink it, we can lay it out differently, but I'm going to quickly explain what it is. Create content that gets your audience laughing and hitting share. That's all we want. To promote speed, because again, this is our content vault. We want as much content as we can. In case you haven't noticed from how quickly I'm zooming through this, obviously I'm going to go through it a little bit faster than you. I want to encourage you to use the same topic to try to create a carousel, a single image, maybe a story, maybe a reel and reel cover, and even go live to talk about that same topic. Doesn't mean you're going to share all those posts back to back to back in the same week, unless you want to try that and make it thematic. That's another approach that I've always wanted to do. But for the most part, you're going to spread it out. Maybe the single image about trending content is going to be posted. 2 weeks later, you're going to post the carousel. 2 weeks later, or later that week, you're going to go live and talk about it. Spread it out. And that's why this exercise really gets the most out of your ideas. I'm going to use this one idea of 4 types of trending content, and I'm going to amplify it to create a bunch of posts. I'm even reusing the same pictures. So here's my industry memes sunglasses icon. That's going to find its way right there into the carousel. Next up on the carousel, we had educational series. So that's just going to be replicated right here. There we go. Teach something in a series of episodes so they keep coming back. Point 3 was my quick win value. And again, I'm just using these headings that I've already created and thinking about what subtext do I want to put with it. On this note, I can show you a super fun feature that I've used a few times in this series, but it's something I use every day, and that's why it finds its way into my workflow quite a bit. And that is the rewrite tool. So let's say I just put a general idea here. Okay, quick win value, give your audience a quick win. Right? That's not very different from the title. I don't like that, but I'm doing that on purpose. Give your audience a quick win that gets them to follow you. Not my best writing, okay? But I'm putting my general idea of what I want to communicate. And then as I have the text selected, I can use this rewrite here and I can either rephrase it, which I might do, because like I said, I'm not very happy with what I wrote. I can shorten it, I can lengthen it, and I can pick a different tone that I want to apply. So let's go ahead and rephrase, and we're going to make it more professional. I'm going to hit generate. Works very quickly, which is awesome. It's going to give me three different ones that I can use to actually put as the text. So what did it give me? Offer your audience an immediate victory that encourages them to engage. Provide quick success for your audience that compels them to follow. I like that one. Deliver a quick triumph to captivate your audience and inspire their loyalty. Let's go ahead and select that, replace, and now it's in my post. I'm quickly finishing up my words, and then I'm going to drop in the pictures, and we'll be on to the next content format already. So the fourth one was non-fancy storytelling. We're going to shrink the text here. And we're going to say, be your audience's best friend and tell them a relatable story. That's what you're doing with that content. So I have my title slide. I have my secondary slide, which also acts as a curiosity prompting question. And then I get into the actual meat and potatoes of the post. I say the four things I want to teach. I quickly bring over my images. I'm highlighting how it's so easy to make the content because all I'm really doing is making the post once. I made that single image infographic and I quickly just stretched it out into a carousel post without having to think of an entirely new topic. Something I always say is it's not lazy to reuse the same topic. It makes you an authority on speaking about that topic. And also, it's going to encourage your audience to take action. I often find that if you tell your audience a process or teach them something once, they might save it or believe they're going to try it out, but then life gets in the way. They move on or they see another post. Everything's very distracting nowadays, of course, as social media wants it to be, but they don't actually take action. So by sharing something similar a second or third time, spread out in your content schedule, you can encourage your audience to finally do it once they see it the second or third time, which is what I'm doing here. Maybe my audience wouldn't be inspired right away to create a trending type of content when they see this post. 2 weeks later, they have it broken down in a carousel, and yes, they're inspired. Finally, something I want to highlight before we move on from the carousel is I always say the second slide should be a summary. Well, normally I would make a list here, but the easy thing, because I'm working in my content vault, is I can just copy and paste the infographic I made, which is already a summary checklist, and put it right there. Okay, maybe I'm using some text like, don't forget, right? So it's all summarized here. I'm changing it up a little bit, but it's nice to work within this vault and have everything in one place so I can copy and paste it. Last little thing, we're going to put in our call to action. Save this and try out the content. Just like that. Obviously, I can add some more personal things. I can make it more branded by adding some colors, by adding some icons, by adding my username here at the bottom. But let's see what we're dealing with here. We have a single image infographic. We have a carousel post. A few more slides to click through. There we go. And the best news, we still have a few minutes to go through. So I'm going to go ahead and create some more content. So let's say I then want to make a reel to go with this theme where I'm talking about 4 types of trending content. Well, one of the parts in the Vault template is a reel cover. So I make it very simple. What is your reel going to be about? I put it here so it doesn't get cut off by the Instagram interface. Sometimes your caption will be here, The likes and things and the metrics will go here. So I keep it to the text box that will not get cut off. 4 types of trending content. We're going to drop that in there. And obviously we want to make that fit and suit my brand. So I'm going to just quickly go over to my personal brand kit that I've made, and I'm going to add some photos. So I have this one already preloaded here. We're going to drop that in there. We're going to quickly make sure that we want it. Let's set the background there. There we go. 4 types of trending content. I can duplicate that and make tons of other ones as well. I could break down each type. How to make an educational series. I want to turn this topic into not just one reel, but several different reels posts. So that's now going to be a cover photo that I can use for a different post. I again just go to my brand where I have all my photos loaded in. I'm going to find one that looks a little bit more like an educational series. Let's try this one. And let's fill that one. Okay, so I'm just showing how quick and easily you can fill in these blanks to make these posts, and you're going to have tons that you can rely on. If we had more time, I would like to have a post counter we could see, try to break a record or set a record so you can try to break it when you hop in and use this template yourself. The last type I want to show before we kind of just do a debrief is going to be a quick and easy story. So again, a story is a great way to preview your content. Yes, you can reshare your post to your stories, but I find it does better if you actually make a unique story for it. So I'm going to go ahead and put something like this. New post alert. Trying to let people know that I just shared something new. Have you ever wondered what trending content does best on Instagram? That's a little wordy. I like that it's a little wordy because we're going to use our friend rewrite again, and we're going to shorten it. Maybe let's try personal because it's a story. I like that it has those tones that we can use. Here we go. What's the buzz on Instagram these days? There we go. Now, maybe you're wondering, what is this huge silhouette that I've put in the template? That is to tell you that that's a good place to maybe take a selfie, to put a photo of yourself, because this is a story post. It's not just going to be you taking a picture of you out and about or sharing a video. Direct attention to the text is what you want to be doing. I like to take photos like this, which I'll pop in from my brand kit. And they're just quick little easy ones. I've removed the background from them and have them as PNGs, but they're great assets to have in your brand here in Adobe Express because you're going to find there are tons of opportunities to use them. I can make it bigger and basically have it so it's me more on screen. In the past, I've done ones that are more vertical where it's me pointing. Maybe I'll bring this down so it's more at home. And then I could put the actual post or some graphics up here. But this is the way I like to do it. I probably should do more of a photo shoot to have even more images that I can use. But this is a great way to remind people that the story they're seeing is posted by you. Because when you get a little text heavy, that's something that can happen. And that would be a nice little story for me to share. I could put a little frame with a still image of the photo or the post up here. Anywhere within this box is probably okay to not get cut off. We're almost out of time. I know I breathed and or I blinked and time was over, but I want to quickly highlight just some of the content we did. Let's zoom out and really take a look because I didn't even use all the templates. Some of these are my favorites that I encourage you to try and use. They use things like charts, which are a lot of fun here in Adobe Express. But I encourage you, pick one topic that you can talk about passionately that's very important in your niche. Create a single infographic about it. Take that infographic and stretch it out into a carousel post and make that carousel post. See if you can try some different variations, right? Maybe I would use this chart and say your percentage breakdown of the 4 Instagram trends, 25% memes, 25% storytelling, something like that. Create some stories to promote it. If you like to do reels, create some nice on-brand reels covers and if you're even going to go live, you can pop in those images to create a nice promo for your live. I've left a spot on this one to even have a guest where you can put them in there too. I know that's been a lot of content, but we've been doing these super fun Express weekly challenges for a while. I encourage you to take a look and try them out for yourself. I always love to see the content that you're creating. And like I said, having that content vault, this nice library of on brand, on theme content is going to save you for when you want to keep your consistency, but don't have time to make a new post. I hope to see what you create, and we'll see you next time. Thank you.